I'm not sure how many of y'all actually heard about this super duper sad situation that happened in Detroit. This is Tateona. She was living in a van with her 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old. Those children actually froze to death. They died of hypothermia. I made a video about this early on TikTok, but they muted it. I guess I was cussing and yelling a little bit too much. This is her baby dad. She actually reached out to this guy and told him, like, hey, me and your kids is out here. We cold. We don't have nowhere to go. Can you please come help us? He didn't do anything. He did absolutely nothing. They actually interviewed him and asked him, like, hey, you didn't know your kids was cold and didn't have nowhere to go and was homeless? His response was, yeah, Tateona reached out. She told me to come get the kids, told me that they needed me, but she didn't tell me that they was homeless. It's horrible.
That man spoke into that microphone and said, can I get him just to get him, and can I get him because you're homeless are not the same thing. Then proceeded to say she would ask if I could get him for a couple of days. But I told her no, because I have to work and they're too far from me. Then proceeded to say she knows she could have called my family. She could have called my people. And he said all of this with a straight face. Clearly, horrible person, horrible father. Hope he gets what's coming to him. But ladies, this is for y'all. If that man not taking care of them kids, if that man is not giving you money in your pocket, if that man is not doing nothing but watching you struggle while he lives his life worry and child free, go down to that child support office and put his ass on it. I don't care if it's $25 a week. And I don't care if you don't need it right now. You want to know why? Because especially in the times that we're in right now, you can lose that job tomorrow and not be able to find one for 2 years. And imagine calling the father of your child under these circumstances and him telling you no, he can't come get his kids, and no, the kids can't stay with him, even though he hasn't even seen them in a month or 2. Even if you don't need the money now, that money is still yours and you are still entitled to it. Even if you never spend a dime off that car, put that shit in an account for those kids and let that money multiply for their future. These niggas will literally leave you and them kids out to dry. So do all that you can do to ensure y'all make it and live to see another day.
The father of 2 homeless children who passed away from hypothermia claimed that the mother did ask for help, but never specified they were homeless. Can I just get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things. Cut all the sob stories. This is what y'all want them paternity tests for, right? To prove they're yours and still let them pass. So Tateona Williams, the mother of 2 children who likely froze while living in a van in Detroit, says that she contacted homeless services in different cities and states and she did not get any help before her children, Darnell 9 and Amelia 2, passed away while sleeping in the van in a Detroit parking lot. The records show that she reached out at least 3 times to Detroit's homeless response team, but she did not receive any assistance. She said that she contacted shelters in the area, but she was told that they were full. I tried to keep hotels. I tried to pay people to stay there. It wasn't working for me. You know, people just don't like too many kids in the house. It doesn't say it here, but somewhere else I was listening to, it was her, 4 of her children, her mother and somebody else who was all in the van. Don't quote me on that last person. I'm not too sure. But she says she tried to reach out to the children's father, but he also did not help him. He had an excuse every time. Either he was working, they can't come where he's living, he lives with a female and the parents don't want kids there, or something. Maybe I asked the wrong people for help, but that was the only thing I did wrong. The father has since gone on the media in a weak attempt to defend himself. Darnell Curry Sr. claims that he was not aware that his children had been living in a van for months because Tateona only asked him to come get the kids. First of all, how non-involved are you with your child that you don't know where your child is? You know what? Let me finish reading this. He claims she never specifically informed him that she and the kids are homeless living in a van. All she said was, can I get him? Can I get him? Just to get him. And can I get him because you're homeless? That's 2 different things. She ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them sob stories, they can cut that out. No, she did not. Tateona said that she did tell him that she was homeless and that she couldn't afford to keep them in a room anymore. I asked him, can you get your kids from me? I need help. You know I'm homeless. I done kept the room this long, but I can't keep it no more. Even if she never told him, if you actually saw your kids, they would have told you. How do you not see your kids for months or ask them how they doing for months? He should be ashamed. And men are always so quick to say, oh, if you can't afford to have the kids, if you need to ask for help, you don't need to have custody. Here she is asking him to take the kids because she can't afford the kids, and still nothing. Because there's no way if you saw your children and communicated with your children on a regular basis, you wouldn't know their living conditions, even if you claim she didn't tell you. I'm not buying nothing he's selling. There are records of her seeking resources to help herself and them children. But other people, so many people want to say that this is all her fault alone. And it was his face during the interview. Like, he looked so cold and callous. Like, it looked like he was barely upset. There was a part in the interview where he's like, oh, she could have asked my family for help. My family live around there. I don't know why she didn't reach out to... Nigga, she reached out to you. You could have reached out to your family. Oh, if they can't stay here, my grandma can take them, my auntie can take them, my sister can take them, or let me make a couple phone calls. What? She reached out to all her people. You couldn't do the bare minimum or the bare minimum of the bare minimum. So, like, you talking about no excuses. What did you do to help? In what capacity did you help besides turn? And why does she have to be homeless or divulge that she's homeless for you to be involved? If she asking you to get your children, apparently you don't see them for months at a time. So if she's asking you to come get your babies, why does she need a reason for you to come get your children? You need a reason? You need a dire reason to come get your children? You're not going to come get your kids just cause? These are the same men that are on my other posts beating their chest talking about I demand a paternity test. For what? For you to just do this anyway? It doesn't make a difference whether you know the child is yours or not, because look how y'all act.
I'm scared to be with a man who has children already. Only because me being me, I'm gonna automatically take them as if they are my children. I couldn't be in a relationship with a deadbeat ass motherfucker like that guy who let his 2 children die in the cold. I couldn't be with a nigga like that and I will never be with a nigga like that in Jesus' name. That will never happen. Because I'm telling you, I don't care how much I don't like the baby mama. If she calls and says, come get your kids, you gonna go get your kids. You gonna pick them kids up. What is... And see, that's the thing, right? And it's why I try to stay away from men who have kids. It's not because I got a problem with the fact that you got kids. It's because I really don't want to be involved in whatever petty drama you and her got going on. Because a lot of women will think, oh, I'm the mother of his children, so I should still be able to try to find my way back in. I can pillow talk my way back in. I'm the mother of his children, so I'm going to make enemies with his new girlfriend. I'm the mother of his children, so I should be able to talk however I want, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And for me, I don't want to play those games, because once there's children involved, we all got to be grown. I don't give a fuck how you feel. I don't give a fuck if you think being grown isn't cool. It's not the trendy thing to do, bitch. Once there's kids involved, you gonna see my fucking face, and we gonna be civil. We are. And if you really know that you can get my man like that, bitch, get him from me. You're doing me a favor by taking him off my fucking hands. Because once there's kids involved, I don't give a fuck what kind of petty shit is going on between me and the baby mama. I don't want any baby mama problems, y'all. I don't fucking want any baby mama problems. Because I don't want any fucking reason for me to hear her call the fucking father and say, come get your kids. I don't want any reason on God's green earth to ever make me be like, nah, keep the kids where they at. No. Once there's kids involved, you gotta grow up. You gotta grow up. I don't like you, bitch, but bring the kids over here. Damn, just stop at the driveway. Oh, you don't gotta come in my house. I'll stand right outside. I'll make sure the kids get inside safe and sound. Just stay, bitch, stay down the street. Park down the street. I'll walk down the street and come get the kids if I really don't want you in my fucking house that much. If I really got a fucking problem with you that much. But if you say come get the kids, I'm gonna come get the fucking kids myself. Who the fuck was dealing with this man? That he said 1 or 2 months that he didn't see his kids. 1 or 2 months? 1 or 2 months? You didn't stop by?
So look, we've been giving the mom and dad from Detroit, Michigan, and the 2 kids that passed away all their lashings, and I want to tell you, we got to zoom out because there's a societal issue at play here. They're going to live with the memory of those 2 kids freezing to being no longer here anymore for the rest of their lives. And when the cameras go away and the microphones go away and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and both of them got insomnia and they laying in bed, they're going to hear echoes of their kids laughing and playing and be haunted and taunted by the sound of that for the rest of their lives. That's enough lashings, to be honest. That's torment for the next 30, 40 years. But how about, instead of this just being a stain on them and their parenting or lack thereof, and these 2 deaths being a stain on us as a society? It's a stain on the city of Detroit. It's a stain on the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. It's a stain on Wayne County. It's a stain on, like, everybody actually has to eat this L, actually. Because why in the richest nation on earth are children freezing to death? Why is that happening? I'm glad that Mayor Duggan came out and took some accountability and said, we got to reassess some things. Yes, you got to reassess some things. Governor Whitmer going to have to reassess some things. Shit, Gary Peters and Alyssa Slotkin going to have to reassess some things, because this is how people fall through the cracks on all this red tape and all this bureaucracy stuff. While you guys are in these state houses and in Lansing and in Congress legislating the hell out of people and crossing off stuff, you're crossing out children who are going to pass away because of the effects of poverty. There's so many things at play here. We already know about the wealth gap that leaves black people disproportionately. You see, we out here freezing to death. Why are children freezing to death in the richest nation on earth, on a piece of land that's floating on a rock that's spinning on earth? And we got so much vast land. We got so much houses out here that are empty. She would have needed a 4-bedroom house. Go look up how much at the minimum, because her 2-year-old could have been in the room with her. So her other kids could have split a room. Go look up what a 3-bedroom costs in the city of Detroit. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so many access points where she was failed. We don't have to stop at mom and dad, actually. We can go ahead and go all the way up to the House of Representatives and the senators. This is a stain on us as a society, because children should not be freezing to death in the richest nation on earth. Full stop.
Tateona Williams in Detroit lost 2 of her children. They were sleeping in a van, and they literally passed from hypothermia. Everybody is in her comments why she didn't go to a shelter. She ran out of gas. Didn't know that the shelter was 2 miles away. How was she gonna get her 4 kids, her mother, and I believe 2 siblings to the shelter? They're all sleeping in the van. Van runs out of gas. Heat is no longer an option because the car has no gas, and her babies are no longer with us because of it. All of this federal aid, all of this housing, all of these programs that are meant to help are going to people who don't deserve it, because they have figured out loopholes to use benefits they really don't apply or qualify for. And then you have mothers like this that are trying. I'm just so confused as to how we have lost 2 babies, and we've got people in government that are getting paid $8 million a day. Don't tell me that we don't have the money. And then, to add insult to injury, the father of 3 of her 4 children gets on national television and says, she ain't called and asked me for help. I mean, she asked me to get the kids, and I told her I had to work and stuff, but she didn't tell me it was because she was homeless. You know, I would have done. He hadn't seen them kids in months outside of FaceTime. And why does it matter why she's asking for help? If she says, I need you to get these kids, come get these kids. She could have called my folks. My folks live right down the street from her. She could have called my folks. Why wasn't your folks calling and checking on their grandkids, their nieces and nephews? These are the situations where I hate that they blame the parent that stayed and that is active. But women, black women especially, hear me clearly. We have got to stop being so prideful. We have got to stop. I got it. I'll figure it out. I ain't gonna beg nobody for nothing. I understand. But when it comes to providing for our children, no more pride. Baby, if you got to work overnight at Kroger's and work McDonald's part-time in the day so you can be there to put your kids on the bus or pick them up from school and then go back to work, we got to do what we got to do. No more pride. If that ain't working, then move in with your mama and your brother and everybody work and everybody pay bills. And if that ain't working, tell them daddies to come get them kids. And if they won't come get them, pack your kids up and drop them off with the daddy. What they gonna do? Call the police for abandonment? Like they already done? What they gonna do? We have got to stop allowing the pride of, I'm asking for help, but people ain't helping, so I'll just figure it out. No, make them help you, especially people that owe you help. The daddies owe you help. If you're already struggling, the government is there to help you. They can help everybody else. Don't give up. This is a heartbreaking story because 2 babies are gone, and this mom is potentially facing charges for child neglect. She may lose her other kids. The system is so broken. It is so broken.
Hey, bitch, what is you doing? Okay, now look. Baby, as I sit here at the park, sitting here, and I came out here to work, do a little work. It's a little chilly out here in the DFW. I felt bad because I need to go get my dog because I see people with their dogs. But it's so chilly. And anyway, as I sit here thinking about how the young lady in Detroit, her kids froze to death, 5 of her kids. And then when I seen I went to Nosy Bystander and seen the daddy had sick. My friend on here, Yella, some bebop, she's a chef, and she talks about, and she was inventory, like it's so many empty houses and apartments around. And I think she was looking at New Orleans, but I'm sure they're the same way in Detroit, Texas, everywhere, Michigan, everywhere. And how this young lady in 2025, her kids froze to death. And then the next video was the girl talking about it, and they were insinuating in the comments that she, she got it wrong, she homeless and all that. Bitch! I done been homeless before, bitch, please. She got 5 motherfucker, I don't want to yell, but y'all be pissing me off. First of all, did you hear when they said we live in a greedy society? They say that the inventory of housing and apartments is over. Nobody's renting them, but they steady building it. But you're telling me in 2025, Americans children are dying because they froze to death? And then you have the audacity to open your mouth and try to act like, it isn't somehow her fault. You don't know that lady's story and why she homeless. And the rent out here is so high. She got 5 kids. How she gonna put all 5 kids in daycare? Everybody ain't in school. She had little kids. So she was gonna pay that daycare and pay rent when the daddy not even helping. Y'all lack empathy. Y'all might as well be the colonizers that came up on the shore, baby. Because that's how some of you act. Yeah, and then I go to some of y'all living in little shacks your damn self. Probably paying $2,000 and $3,000 rent, and you gonna say this girl with 5 children, how is she homeless and all of this? It can happen. Been there, done that. Y'all done pissed me off this morning, baby. I'm out here trying to enjoy just a little calm and all of that, baby. I done took my L-theanines, baby, and my ashwagandhas, baby. Y'all done got me up out of my body. The nerve of you to be like, how can somebody be? Girl, do you not live in America? Where you from? Some of y'all are sad and self-hating and lack empathy, lack common decency. She has 5 and then the nerve of some men, and then you agreeing with these men in the comments talking about, well, she could have kept her legs closed. Nigga, you should have kept your piece in your pants too. Did you? Probably not. Well, I don't know, because if you're on here talking about people all day, you probably ain't getting nothing anyway. Baby, I done...
So more facts have come out about the kids that froze up in Detroit. So the kids was a 2-year-old little girl and a 9-year-old boy. Their mother, Tateona Williams, she had been facing homelessness for the last 2 years. They were like living with people and, you know, they just didn't have a solid place to stay. Back in November, it got really bad and they began to live in the van. People asking about the baby daddy. The baby daddy is laid up with a new chick, and apparently he's homeless too because they're staying with that chick's parents. And he told his baby mom, Tateona, that, you know, those parents don't want little kids over at their house, so he wasn't able to take the kids. So everybody that was living in the van, it was 7 people total. It was the grandma and her other child, who's 13, and then Tateona Williams and her 4 kids. They said she had been reaching out for assistance and, you know, like housing assistance for the last 2 years. It's really sad that between these 2 grown women and the dad, that they weren't able to get some sort of roof over their head. And yeah, people are blaming the government, but this is like a wake-up call to all Americans. Like, if you think that the government is going to save you, they are clearly not. America is becoming like a third world country, and everybody better buckle up and prepare. If you don't got the food, if you don't got the housing, you're gonna be homeless. The mom is facing backlash, but the dad needs to be facing backlash too. Because how dare you have 4 babies out there that's homeless and you laid up with a new chick? You should have been busting your ass or giving this lady all the money you had to give them a room for the night. Let this be a lesson to women with no kids. You see how these men will do you. They'll move on to the next thing and leave you homeless in the streets with 4 kids. It's really shocking that these 2 women were homeless this long. And now that they're with family, but the mom went back to the shelter and the kids is with family. I just don't understand why that couldn't have been the initial setup where the kids go with family and the mom goes into the shelter.